All right, welcome to our latest episode of That's Fair Podcast. I'm your host, Matt.
It's your boy, Bing Bing.
Coming from you from the 1920s is your boy, Myles.
I actually did pretty good.
That's pretty good.
We're going to talk about the latest news, like the assassination attempt on Trump and some other stuff, and then we'll just roll into our opinions on that show.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, let's do it. Pew, pew. All right, like we said, man, it's trending, so we figured we'd kind of just jump in this bitch, huh?
Yeah, we're pretty much Twitter right now.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're gonna Twitter drop this.
By
And
the
we're gonna start with the hardest tweet that I have seen since, I guess, is it called a tweet still now that it's X?
I believe so.
Did you just send out on X? Is that what it is now? You just send out an X?
Send out. Well, he invented like threads or whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway,
I don't know.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Fuck all that shit. Anyway,
But by the time we're done with this, it shall be covered.
yes.
You know?
Well,
Either way, it's still a tweet. The hardest tweet that I have seen to date. I can't remember who tweeted it, but the tweet goes like this. It says, Trump beat Hillary in 2016 and ended her kill streak in 2024.
damn. I can't get. You gotta love that.
That's phenomenal.
You know,
really did.
Who here, when they first heard the news break, I'm not trying to sound mean, but me, myself, I wasn't surprised. It finally tried to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily that I wasn't surprised. It was more or less that I was pretty shocked.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, holy shit, they actually did it. They actually tried. Like, I was like, I didn't think I would ever see that. Like, you would have thought it would have been way more controversial, like, not to be like a dick or anything, but with Obama, like, just a, you know.
Well, I
like,
mean, if you're going with the first African American president,
yeah,
I mean,
like,
you would think it would have
that
happened.
that was like when everybody thought it was gonna happen, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's when everybody was like, yo.
And in fairness to
careful.
listeners and people viewing, we would never have wanted that.
No, we don't condone
Absolutely
we don't
no.
condone any of it. That's our whole point on this. Is like we're not choosing either side here. We're just speaking out on the fact that what happened, how unfortunate it was, and the fact that we don't condone that kind of shit. I mean, I know we've gone off the rails here a little bit and like, oh yeah, we would definitely hurt some people, you know, but like that's all
Only jokes.
I mean, it's all
We only
just
joke.
jokes here. And like we're like, I feel like from me, my standpoint, and on this side of the microphone is I know when I'm talking about like the right shit, and I know when I'm like just trying to get a rise out of people, you know.
Yeah.
Like I will just throw out the most. Like when we had that whole St. Patrick's episode,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't feel that way. I love Ireland,
No.
Right,
No.
like-
yeah.
but like I'm like I have to get a rise out of them, you know.
Mm.
So like that's just
Yeah.
doing that. But
I mean,
besides the whole point, it's like,
okay, and I'll just be straight with you guys. I went straight to social media with my thoughts. I went straight to Facebook, and I didn't delete it because once you post something, don't be a pansy and delete it. Just own it.
Yeah, own it. Like, I mean, not to point any fingers here, but the Biden administration deleted Biden's tweet about putting Trump in the bullseye right after he got
And
shot.
never,
Like,
you look bad when you delete it.
yeah,
And see,
like,
and I was
stand
guilty.
by it.
I was
Stand by
guilty.
it.
I'm on my Facebook account. I was guilty. I said, this makes January 6, 2020 look minuscule, and I put the left is sick. But I didn't, I was just going off emotion.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, it doesn't necessarily symbolize the left, not the left people that I know. Like
Yeah,
I know
no.
liberals and I know Democrats, and I'm very close to them and I love them all. And I can't retract it. I can't delete it. I said it. I was angry because they tried it, but in fairness,
But I mean, that's the thing, though.
I didn't like do it. I wish I didn't do it, but I'm not going to delete it because that's just pansy.
Well, like, we can't fault you for doing something that literally everybody on this planet does, whether they want to agree to it or not, or admit to it or not, is we marginalize everybody based on a small portion of things.
Yeah, but
So,
I didn't like the fact that I just categorized myself as you all. You know, not you guys per se, but like I just joined the crowd of a crowd that I didn't want to join, and I wished I didn't do it.
I mean, but we're all human.
Yeah, and I'm over it. You know, I mean, I didn't piss anybody off, and I don't give a shit if I did. But
Well, that's the thing.
but
though, like,
I should know better.
if you get upset about somebody else's opinion, that's your opinion for being upset.
Yeah,
It's almost your fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. Unless somebody is going out of their way to like pick at you and try and offend you, like I'm like, Matt, your forehead wrinkles look mighty wrinkly today, right? Like,
hey,
see, that's me.
I thought they were looking extra tight, my guy.
That's me directly going at him. But if I'm like, it's not that hot in here, that's completely,
Getting hot out there too.
Like, anyways.
But no, like I'll just use first names. But like I know that I have a friend on Facebook named Melissa and Jeremy, and they're very hardcore left, and it was not aimed at them, and they know it. But
it was aimed at. It was aimed.
They know it now.
It was aimed at my anger.
I feel like it's not even that we're aiming it at a people or the peoples of the left or the right. We're more or less dictating the left side of our government versus the right side of our government. We're not really.
But that's our problem.
People,
politics shouldn't make us this angry at each other. It's just politics.
I mean, it should be the same way with religion. Shouldn't get that angry about religion.
Yeah, but I don't give a fuck about anybody's religion. You know mine.
Yeah, I know.
I think everybody just kind of cares a little too much.
That is the thing. Here's the thing, dude. Is like
kind of just do my own thing in the corner over here.
You're the most neutral. You're the most neutral guy.
Mark is the most neutral. Mark most definitely would be a Buddhist if he was religious.
Buddhist
in this whole thing, I would literally say, be like Mark when it comes to politics.
Yeah, I mean, like Mark is literally like he just don't care. I mean, it's. I mean, not good to not care, but it's good.
I think he cares.
I have enough effort and like care towards like the meaningful shit that like I feel like is just like human.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, no, you definitely care about the
I care
more important things.
Yeah,
like we care when we're like, oh, did you see that bullshit that he said? It's like you're like no, because I don't care. Like, did he make?
I'm not in tune with anything, but like I care about the things that I care about.
And everyone knows what direction I go in politics. And yes, I watched the RNC last night, and I watched Trump's entire hour and 32-minute long speech. I watched it all.
Jesus.
And it's not an issue to be informed on both sides. Here's the thing. People that like are like that want to sit here and debate or argue about something, and they shout out to Ed. They only argue about from like their perspective instead of watching both sides. Like, okay, if you want to sit down and talk politics, please tell me that you watched not just Trump's speech, but you also watched Biden's speech.
I do. I watch both campaigns.
Like that's what. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't come at me with your single-sided view.
Yeah, but people will come at you with single-sided views because typically the majority of your voters are just single-issue voters. I mean, they find one reason and they hold on to that, and you cannot convince them. They clamp onto it like a pit bull. I mean, most uninformed are single-issue voters.
And here's the crazy thing is like,
and that's on both sides, obviously.
Oh no, that is on both sides.
You know what I mean? So
and just all together, if you sit here and look down at the statistics right now, there's a lot of people that were blue going red right now, and I feel like in turn we're actually going to get a lot more independence down the line.
Yeah,
people are going to finally start dipping their toes in the red water, and some people, have already dipped their toes in the blue water.
Blue pill, red pill, blue pill, red pill.
So it's like, if you, I feel like we're gonna have a lot more people that drop into the middle ground. Like where I feel like most of us sit. I mean,
what are we supposed to believe?
I feel like Mark sits in the middle ground. I feel like Matt, you lean a little bit more red, but it's not an issue.
No, I mean, there's no hiding the fact that I lean red. However, what I was going to say about Trump's hour and 32-minute long speech is, at first he comes out and he goes up to Corey. What is it? I don't mean to butcher his name. Comparator. The firefighter who lost his life.
Oh man, I don't know. I can't pronounce his last name either.
Yeah, would you look it up real fast?
Yep.
I'm sorry. I want to say right. Comparator.
I just had a list up too. Hold on.
But anyway, and he goes up and he had his firefighter uniform and his helmet.
I saw that.
And he kissed his helmet.
Yeah.
That's a big moment. Where Trump went a little overboard is you didn't need to make it a goddamn hour and 32 minutes. I mean, you had the audience. He had the audience. I mean, obviously, it's a Republican National Convention. Mm-hmm. How do you find it?
Comparator?
Comparator. Okay, Corey Comparator. By the way, rest in peace to Corey Comparator.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Oh, no, that's terrible. But, Trump kissed his fireman's hat, and that was huge. And then Trump did go over his the policies he wants to implement. He's got, to me, a lot of good things. Both sides have great and bad. Let's just be honest. But Trump, the speech went on too long, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I know Mandy, she stayed with it, but she's fallen asleep, and I don't blame her. I mean, it's like Trump, man. But I'm not. I didn't have a near-death experience recently, so I mean, you got to give him that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, and a lot of people shouldn't just sway their minds because he was shot at. I mean, obviously, I feel like you need to agree with the policy and not just the issue, but at the same time, it's like, I like that he's getting a lot more support, and I like that a lot more people are actually looking into him and not just judging him based on some shit he did in his past. If people wanted to judge people based on the shit they did in their past or said on their past, nobody would support Biden. I promise you, nobody would support
Well,
Biden.
no one support any politician because I think
No.
politics
shit,
is
dude.
fucking
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah. Politics is
Somewhere along the time that you're serving in politics, you're gonna do some crooked shit, change you completely as a person.
And man, people you run against,
Yeah.
like you're what they ain't gonna let you forget it either. They're gonna
Mhm.
use all your dirty secrets against
Like,
you.
we'll forget about it for like 15, 20 years.
But then when you decide to make a splash in politics, they're like, hey, you remember that one time when you stepped in that dog shit and you wiped it on that chick's
Yeah, we didn't forget about that shit, dude.
Yeah, we know about
That shit's
the dog
never clean,
shit.
bro.
They'll pull up your middle school like grades and be like, hey,
Like, bro, you got a D.
you got a D on this because you wrote the F word in there?
I mean, let's be
Let's
honest,
talk
you're the
about it.
dumbest fucking kid in middle school.
We're going to talk about that.
No offense. I mean, I would have to be pretty stupid to want to take a career in politics.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Because once you decide to become like you try to get your constituents and whatever, and you become this big man, and then all of a sudden they're like, dude, you remember when you were wearing those ladies' jockeys the other day?
Oh, dude,
I didn't forget about that shit.
I got some jazz on Mark.
You gotta clean that closet, brother.
If Mark and I were ever competing, we would both be dropped out of the race solely based on what we have on each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't think Bingham wants to hear about race.
Ooh.
Why is there a race?
Yeah, why do you gotta bring up race?
And why am I not winning?
Because you're not. I don't know.
Anyway,
What's ever noticeable
but
over here?
This is linked to what we were going to talk about. But guys, real quick, I was going to go over a couple things that I wrote down before we get into the attempted assassination on Donald Trump. Is obviously that Abraham Lincoln one, who was born February 12th of 1809 and was assassinated on April 15th of 1865. John Wilkes Booth, born May 10th, 1838, I guess, and then April 26th, 1865, he died. But we talked about Abraham Lincoln. Did you go ahead and spill some of that? Did you hear about this?
What?
Okay, like...
I mean, before we get into the next one, go ahead.
It's all public information and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's public information. I learned some shit
but
today.
not very many people look into this kind of thing, right? So Abraham Lincoln sold the U.S. to the IFB, to
bank or whatever.
Yeah, International Foreign Banking. Okay, it was three major families at the time. So we're actually known as the United States Corporation. I mean,
we're a business.
Yeah,
yeah,
and I mean that's exactly So here's the craziest thing about Russia right now is Russia is pushing out the Rothschilds and all the other major banking corporations. Okay, and what's weird about this is the last time this happened. Okay, and I'm not comparing the two in any way, so don't take it that way. But the last time that somebody kicked out all of the major banking corporations and people that dealt in banking and basically ran countries and from the shadows. The last time they were kicked out of the country was with Hitler. So but he also had the greatest financial and economic comeback for a short period of time before we really got involved into the war and shit like that. But yeah, so long story short, Abraham Lincoln basically sold the U.S.
For a bag of grapes.
No,
sold the country for a bag of grapes.
Basically,
and some Skittles.
I wish I had Sean here right now because Sean could help us out with this a little bit more because Sean read into it a little bit more and Sean.
Well, I mean, long story short, though, he wasn't as great of a man as he was portrayed.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate saying that because he was ultimately a good dude and he did a lot of good shit. But
yeah, I mean, you pretty much did the main one. What did he sold?
Yeah, and so basically, but that was the whole point of it wasn't the main point of the Confederacy, but it was one major factor is that they didn't want any people basically controlling what they were doing through financial process. So they didn't want the Confederates didn't want these foreign bankers involved in basically dictating what they could and couldn't do. Right? I mean, think about it. Right? The only time that a nation is profitable is during war. Okay. The South.
That's another thing I learned today. Even though we won't go into that, that can be a separate topic.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into this later. I'm not supporting, the South by any means.
But I wanted you to give a little bit of that background.
Yeah, just a little bit of backstory. Though is basically a lot of people think it was just purely over slavery. That wasn't the case. Okay, because Abraham still retained 5 of his slaves after the fact. Okay, so I want to say it was 5 or 6 of his slaves he retained from after the fact, but they weren't
He said psych.
But I was going to tell you the next
Sorry.
one
No,
is James Garfield, who was born on November 19th of 1831 and was assassinated September 19th, 1881. He was assassinated by Charles J. Guiteau. I don't know how to fuck him. He's a piece of shit too. September 8th of 1841.
Was that like? Is that French or something?
What, piece of shit?
Guitar.
Yeah.
Guitar.
But
Hey,
September
come get
8th
your
of,
guitar.
yeah, Guiteau was born September 8th of 1841, and then he died June 30th of 1882. And he was worried about the assassination, his attempt at Garfield. He originally was going to use a knife, and he's like,
shit.
dude, if that guy he could kill me in one punch. So he ended up using a pistol.
Wow.
Yeah, he knew that the knife might not be enough against Garfield.
Yeah. I mean, dude, just think about it, right? Like, a lot of people, when it comes down to it, when people start doing their actual research and like backgrounding half of this shit, the people that are involved in the fucking government shootings are never like just involved by themselves. They have a financial backer. Somebody told them to do it. Like,
And when we get to this Thomas Matthew Crooks,
yeah,
the latest
we're
one,
going to be talking about.
They
that
think
for
that he
fucking-
had some backing. There's some
there's
interesting
heavy
points.
evidence that he had financial support and somebody hired him to do this.
And then you might have heard of this guy, John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
I don't know. You ever heard of JFK?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Born May 29th of 1917 and assassinated November 22nd of 1963, allegedly only by Lee Harvey Oswald, born October 18th of 1839, and he met his fate by Jack Ruby, November 24th of 1963.
okay, and I just want to point something out that has a consistency in each one of these. Okay, each president that has had or has been assassinated or has had an assassination attempt on them has had that attempt on them due to the fact that they are challenging foreign banking. Or
every one of them.
John F. Kennedy, he wanted to abolish the fucking we talked about it earlier.
We did.
I can't.
It's a dumb question, but like, what is foreign banking?
Foreign banking
in different countries.
It's like the it's basically so like the Rothschilds obviously aren't from the U.S. Okay, like they're outsourced. I want to say they started in Germany, as a matter of fact.
But it allows them
sure
to dictate much of our own currency from the U.S. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the majority of these presidents that got assassinated or attempted, they wanted to keep everything America.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
So basically, they just didn't want foreign people coming in, like not foreign people, but just like foreign banking and foreign assets and shit like that, trying to come in and take over shit. It's like, okay, right now there's a huge call to take China completely off of all of our farmland. They want to take China off of all of that farmland, right? That was something that Trump wanted to push for.
And
he wanted to bring
brought
back
that
American
up last night too.
Okay, and here's the thing: anytime that somebody has talked about taking foreign business out of the U.S., not anytime somebody has, but like presidents, right? If they're looking to,
they put it in their narrative.
Yeah. Okay. And then next thing you know, there's an assassination attempt, or there was an assassination. Like John F. Kennedy wanted to abolish the it's the Treasury. The
not the Department of Treasury.
No, it's not the Treasury.
The Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve. Thank
Yes.
you.
Good job, Mark. Good job, Mark. So he wanted to take out the Federal Reserve, and then out of nowhere, dude gets assassinated. And I sent Matt a video today of this lady that supposedly she had to do with.
This was weird.
She basically she was involved with the government, and she reviewed the tapes, and she was like she was in forensics or some shit like that. So she's sitting there watching the video, and in the video that she's being shown by the FBI, the driver of John F. Kennedy's car turns and shoots at him. Okay, and she's like, "Was this a doctored video?" And he's like, "No."
But what I don't understand, though, is the Zapruder film, because Zapruder, it's called the Zapruder film, the one that we have seen. I don't know how much I believe, I guess, because the Zapruder film is so old that it would almost be next to impossible to doctor it. Well, especially unless it's a recent discovery. If it's a recent discovery, then you can doctor anything. That's what I don't like.
And here's the thing, though, too, is that they were able to doctor photos when Stalin was around, dude. Like if he found out that somebody was going against him, that he had like a photo, there's evidence that showed like that Stalin had like his constituents removed from photos.
I mean, I'm not debunking it. I'm just saying it's weird.
Yeah.
Like
it is very
floating
strange,
tree.
The first Photoshop, dude.
Yeah, so
like there's a floating tree in the original one, right?
Oh,
and the one that they released to the public of John F. Kennedy's assassination, his driver never even looks back.
Right. And there's a floating tree when they pass it. The tree. I'm doing Trump signals.
When they pass the tree,
no, if you've seen the video, I know exactly what you're talking about.
When they show the actual one, you can see the root all the way into the ground.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah. So there's just like little shit that's messed up in it that just doesn't add up.
But anyway, one of my favorites, Ronald Reagan, born February 6th of 1911.
One of his favorites.
Reagan, I love Reagan. He died June 5th of 2004, and his he's assassin still alive. John Hinckley Jr., born March 29th of 1955. I don't know if he's out yet or not. But I do know that they listened to what he had to say about this latest assassination attempt on Trump. This from the would-be assassin that tried to kill Reagan, and he said he doesn't condone violence in any way. Really? But you tried to kill Reagan in 1981? You know, it's like fuck, man. Fuck, I gotta get on.
Did you guys?
I gotta get on.
You know what's crazy is that we have Reagan to thank for fucking OSHA.
What's wrong with OSHA?
OSHA, like,
I just don't fucking like OSHA. I don't fuck with OSHA. Fuck OSHA.
Well, if you got something
certified
wrong,
or what?
I mean, if you don't like OSHA, you're hiding some shit.
Literally, dude.
What did I literally tell you happened to me this morning or this afternoon? Well,
okay, so someone threw a beach ball at you and it hit you in the head. Who hasn't had that happen?
No, but like.
Fuck.
No, I just don't like OSHA, dude.
You can't take enough headshots as it is, so let's just fucking chill.
Mark takes all.
It's just for the payout, is all it is. That's why OSHA exists now.
Yeah, no,
OSHA doesn't bother me. I mean, you usually get these people that come in that they hate the. Here's your typical. I'm probably gonna get arrested. Here's your typical OSHA employee. Looks good.
Looks good. Looks good.
You got like a fire escape that's blocked. Looks good.
There's a ladder in front of it too.
How old are those extinguishers? Like 38 years old. It's good. Hey, everything's here. All right. I guess it's that time of day, guys.
You know what's crazy though is like OSHA doesn't say shit about the fact that like when OSHA came into the shop that I previously worked for, there was fucked up equipment, there was frayed cords, there was all this other shit.
Man, he's just bus rolling.
They just looked right past that shit, right? Even after I got elected.
It's like, is that a fucking razor blade on the ground?
Exactly, dude. They banned razor blades.
See, though? You said they look past most of that shit. OSHA's no threat.
Yeah, dude.
You think they want to be there?
Yeah.
Say, okay, this looks good.
It's like, man, everything looks fine. I'm just there was a fucking razor blade, I guess.
No, dead ass. Like she straight up, she dead ass was like, why do you have an open container on your fucking toolbox? And I was like, that's your biggest fucking concern?
Sorry, I wanted a morning Sprite, dude.
You know what she told him to? You know what? No seconds on dessert for you.
Yeah, I know. I could have walked another 5 feet and put it in the fridge, but anyway, slap on the wrist for me.
But the latest one was July 13th of 2024. From the time of this recording, this is 6 days ago. June 14th of 1946 is when Donald J. Trump was born, and he's still alive, obviously. No thanks to a Thomas Matthew Crooks, who was born September 20th, 2003, and he met a very up close and personal bullet on July 13th of 2024. He was only 20. Okay, here's what I want to ask you guys. Okay, this 20-year-old, all he had as a 20-year-old, all he had was a Discord account. He didn't have any other social medias. This guy was antisocial. Even the antisocial have every fucking social media out there. This kid only had a Discord. Not very long after he was.
I feel like I should. Okay, this has nothing. This is gonna sound really. I'll just wait. Never mind. You're good.
Well, hold it though. Don't forget it. But not long after that, Discord completely deactivated his account, just like that, erased. His parents were social workers, and Crooks was known to build bombs, and he was constantly visiting the gun range. So he did have some firearms training. Evidently, not that much.
Not enough.
Yeah. Now, real quick, the reason I want y'all's opinion, because you have Biden, who had a tweet taken down about having Trump in his bullseye.
Yeah. And and when he was interviewed about it, he's like, I didn't say reticle. I'm like, or what do you say? Not reticle. He
Yeah,
said
like
fucking
crosshair.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't say crosshair. It's like same shit, dude.
Yeah. I didn't say shoot him. I just said fire at him.
Yeah, and it's not weird that we fucking were having a whole ass meeting about taking away his Secret Service access a fucking week prior, and it's also not weird that one of the people that Act Blue pays to fucking back Biden is
Myles is just jumping in already.
But it's no, seriously, like I'm just breaking it down from like a standpoint that you can actually understand here is that there's a kid out there, I can't remember what his name is, it's like Harry something, I don't know, he's a little tool. But
Harry Styles?
No, it's not Harry Styles. But like it's some kid that thinks he knows shit about politics, but you can literally go on to his public forum and see that they literally pay him like $200,000 every couple months to go on and fucking support Biden and try and debunk shit and make Trump look bad and fucking try and get the younger audience to vote left. But it's like, dude, you continuously fail at your fucking job. But if you also look into it on the same website where you can see that this kid is being paid, you can see that the shooter donated to the exact same page. He donated to Act Blue.
Well, and he also donated a disclosed amount of money to the Democratic Party, even though they were saying he was a registered Republican. Mm. The other thing I was going to ask you guys' opinion on, though, is I'm watching all these YouTube videos of these former Navy SEALs marksmen who literally said that the Secret Service were all kinds of fucked up.
Oh, yeah, all kinds.
What is your take on that?
Here's my thing about the Secret Service. I think that like they obviously have a lot of hires just to check some boxes and shit.
You can say it, DEI. It's all over. So people are slamming DEI all over YouTube.
What's DEI?
It's diversity,
equity, and inclusion.
So you have like, I'm not trying to.
You got to make sure you have you got to check your boxes. Make sure you have the right number of homosexuals, all the different colors, races. You have to have all of it to make sure, even if they're not the most qualified, you have to meet quotas.
Yeah, like.
It's like Coast Guard.
So and fuck. So anyhow,
no, okay, all right.
So basically, like in this footage, okay, Trump's being shot at, and you see, and I'm not trying to like dog on this girl here. I'm sure it was her first time being shot at. She was probably very scared. But at the same time, it's your fucking job.
The one where she couldn't like get it back.
Get her fucking gun out.
I'm gonna dog on the Teletubby because that Teletubby couldn't do shit.
No, dude, she didn't. Okay, all the males were surrounded and on top of him. I think that I saw one female get in close and tag and get down on Trump, which was good. Like,
that was so cool.
But like the fact that like she couldn't draw her gun, was looking all the way around, couldn't figure out where the hell things were going down from. That doesn't fucking matter to her. She does not need to figure out where shit's going down from. She needs to figure out, okay, how close is Trump? I need to get Trump safe.
Yeah,
That was her fucking job. What did she do? She sat there and got scared and fucking didn't do her job and sat there like a fucking pansy. But I'm like, if you're hired to do this job, you should have been fucking cleared to do this job. You should have been put in situations where you could handle that shit.
You should have heard the Hodge twins. He's like, yeah, got us a damn good show today. And they're like, man, he's like, man, that little Oompa, man, she couldn't even holster her gun.
Yeah. If you're that incompetent when it comes down to shit like that, you should not be working for Secret Service.
Oh,
supposedly
God.
the best
the best of the best
planet. No, apparently fucking not anymore.
Oh,
and you know what her excuse was?
How secret is that service then?
Dude,
when everybody knows it's not.
She looked like a fucking weeble in a suit.
She needs the director or the chick that runs the Secret Service needs to step down, and she's not stepping down, and she's terrible for it. She's a garbage. Besides the point, dude, the fact that she's like, we couldn't put anybody on that roof because it was sloped. Okay, it was sloped like this.
That was her excuse. Well, it was.
Do you know where the guy that took the killing shot on Crooks was on a sloped roof like this? Right, and I know not very many people can see that our listeners aren't going to see.
Your listeners cannot see.
Yeah, but if you want to hear us, man, if you want to hear us, those on Spotify, find us on That's Fair Podcasting. Like and subscribe, please. Like the video, get us in the algorithm. Go ahead.
So basically, you had a counter sniper on a triangle-shaped roof, and you had the wannabe assassin on basically like at best.
It's this man's flat ground game, dude.
Yeah, like I was gonna say at best, like you ever been laying there and like, the little hump on your pants, like from the zipper?
Oh, the
That's about how much. That's about how much slope was on that roof.
like the gene bone.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's about how
And
much
the other
slope
thing
was on that
too,
roof.
because we're about to hit a half hour, but I want to ask you. We're not in a hurry because I backed that thing up, so we don't have to be
Back that thing up, bro.
So sussy shit. And I was like, yeah, dude, all the guys jumped and got on top of him. I'm like, whoa.
And I'm over here. You got to back that ass up. But
See, we're inclusive.
yeah. But yeah, I was going to ask you too. What are the odds that a 20-year-old punk kid is behind this by himself?
No fucking way. If you watch all the footage, first of all,
That's
Whoa!
well,
All
first of all,
right.
no, I'm just
You're
saying. No,
getting pissed
I'm not going to.
Like, wait a minute.
Go
I'm
ahead.
just like we've had so long to like sit here and discuss and all this evidence and shit that's coming out, and like now I just kind of want to talk about it for like people that maybe don't give a shit enough to look into it, but maybe give a shit enough to listen to us talk about it.
I'm learning for the first time right now too, guys.
Yeah, okay.
No worries.
I don't keep up with none of this.
At first, it was known that the counter shooter had eyes on him for about 3 minutes. Okay, and then it was found out that people who had been warning the police about him for about 30 minutes, and then on top of that, they had already been surveillancing him for weeks prior. They knew he was on grounds for at least 62 fucking minutes.
And for copyright purposes, there's a new video released showing him looking at the building. But copyright purposes, I cannot add that into the video. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so you can see him walking around with a rangefinder. This kid looked nervous as fuck. Okay, you're telling me that this kid magically showed up with a ladder, firearm, and bombs onto a secure grounds, past Secret Service, police force,
The best in the world.
supposedly made it past every single one of them. The building he climbed on top of, a cop supposedly went up the ladder behind him, had the rifle pointed in his face. He climbed back down, didn't notify all of the Secret Service members that were in the building below him.
That's fucking crazy.
There were Secret Service members in the building below him. And they still didn't do it. And this is the wildest part about all of it, is that there are ballistics experts listening and rewatching the videos. They're saying that there was 3 shooters. They
Yes.
said the counter shooter, the main shooter, and somebody else.
And they think it's as far as 380 yards away on a water tower.
Exactly. And the reason for that being is because of the way that the bullet reacted. Okay, so 223, when it hits something, Mark, is it starts to topple. Even if it would have just trimmed his ear like that, it would have still toppled. Okay? End over ends. Okay? It's not as big of a round as everybody thinks it is, or the media makes it out to be. Okay? But whatever round went past him, went through. Okay, so it nicked his ear, went through some dude's shoulder, and obliterated on a steel rafter behind him. That's at least 30-06 or 308 or better.
And by the way, people are still, and I always have this answer. There's no reason for Trump to wear the Band-Aid. Why are you wearing a Band-Aid? That's overdoing. I going, says the people that wear fucking masks by themselves in a car.
Yeah,
Come on.
Did you see?
air spooky.
I did see that like people were just starting to like wear a bandage or whatever, like a bandage or whatever on their ear just cause.
Dude, Trump's going to be
Have
the
you
new
seen
Nelly
that?
with that Band-Aid
The
shit.
funniest thing is my friend on Facebook, Kim, she did a funny meme. She's neutral. She doesn't give a shit either way. She goes, when you order a pillow on Temu and it's the thing.
Oh, that's awesome. But like,
It's like an ear hat is what they make it look like. You know what I mean?
all I got to say to these people out here giving Trump shit for the Band-Aid on his ear, why aren't you guys attacking Nelly for the Band-Aid he had on his cheek for like 5 fucking years?
Dude, acne. Grown up acne, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You want to call this one, and then we will roll into the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right, well, thanks for listening to our opinions on the latest debacle of our country. And I, myself, am outro.
Keep it right, keep it tight, America. We're outie.
And Das Vidania from the 1920s.